All right, today we're diving deep into a seriously creepy short story called Whispers in the Rain. We're going to break down its central mystery, get a handle on its spooky supernatural rules, and follow the terrifying loop that sits right at its heart.
And it all kicks off with this simple line. Now, this isn't just a weather report, right? This is all about mood. It's about isolation, secrets, and the feeling that something unsettling can happen when the world is washed out by a storm.
And there it is. That's the hook. The impossible problem. The artist's assistant, Lin Chia, heard something that just shouldn't be possible. A sound coming from a room that no one could get into. That's the kind of puzzle that gets any good story started.
Okay, so with that creepy sound still echoing in our heads, let's go to where it all began, that secluded villa.
So here's the initial report. The basic facts of the case. We've got our missing person, an artist named Alexandra. The location is a classic, an isolated villa. And the witness, Lin Chia, has a story that just breaks your brain. Painting sounds coming from a room that's been locked tight for hours.
And this is where our main guy, Detective Wei, steps in. He's our skeptic, our voice of reason. He doesn't do ghosts, but he's a sharp detective, and he hears the absolute conviction in the assistant's voice. That's what gets him hooked. Not the supernatural stuff, but how much the witness believes it.
But the second Detective Wei gets that studio door open, everything changes. The case stops being a simple missing person report and becomes, well, something else entirely.
So Wei pushes his way in, and the scene is just eerie. The air is thick with the smell of paint, sure, but also something else, something metallic. The room's almost empty, except for one easel standing right in the center. A brush is on the floor, the paint's still wet. But Alexandra, the artist, vanished. All the evidence says he was just there, but the door was locked from the inside. How?
In this empty space, there's only one witness left, a freshly painted canvas. It's the only thing in the room that has a story to tell. And what a story. The painting is of a man standing in that very studio, and he's wearing a gray scarf. And get this, it's the exact same gray scarf that the assistant, Lin Chia, has been clutching this whole time. That's our first real, tangible link between this world and whatever is going on.
And then you see it. Tucked away in a corner of the canvas, in tiny red letters, is one word: help. Suddenly, this isn't just a painting. It's a message. A desperate plea from someone who has literally disappeared into thin air.
At this point, the standard detective playbook is out the window. We're moving into a different phase now. To solve this, we have to figure out the bizarre supernatural logic of what's happening. We have to learn the rules.
Wei knows he's out of his depth, so he brings in an expert, Professor Lee. Her reaction says it all. She takes one look at the painting, and it's not admiration, it's this deep, instinctual feeling that something is fundamentally broken. It's just wrong.
And then, as if to prove her point, the painting does something impossible. While they're looking at it, it changes. There's a mirror painted in the background, and suddenly it's showing Detective Wei's reflection. The painting isn't just a static object. It's aware. It's watching them.
And that's when Professor Lee cracks it. She figures out the core rule of this curse. It's a transaction, a trade, a soul for a soul. To create art this alive, a real soul has to be trapped inside it. And for that trapped soul to get out, a new one has to take its place. Alexandra is in the canvas, and the canvas is looking for a replacement. The very moment Wei understands this rule, the game changes. He's no longer the investigator, he's the next target. The case has become a trap, laid specifically for him.
Wei goes back to the villa, and there it is. A new canvas with a new painting, an unfinished portrait of him. The curse isn't waiting around anymore. It's made its choice. The hunter is now the hunted. And then he hears it, a whisper, seeming to come from the canvas itself. It's Alexandra's voice, making him an offer, a chilling promise. Finish your own portrait, seal your own fate, and you'll set me free. It's a plea that's actually a command. What follows is just this awful, inevitable sequence of events. That evening, Wei is compelled to go back to the house. He paints all night long, like he can't stop himself. The moment the last brushstroke is done, the figure in the painting, his painted double, smiles at him. By morning, Detective Wei is gone, and the only thing left in the room is a gray scarf on the floor. The exchange is complete.
But the story doesn't end with Wei's disappearance. You see, the most horrifying part of this whole thing isn't the trap itself. It's that the trap is designed to reset. The cycle never ends.
Days later, the painting is examined again, and it's changed. Before, it showed Wei painting. Now, it just shows him standing there, trapped. But even worse, there's something new. A dark figure, watching him from the shadows of the room. The canvas isn't just a prison, it's a stage, and it's already setting up for the next act.
Professor Lee finds Alexandra's journal, and in it, she finds the final awful piece of the puzzle. There's no grand plan here, no evil mastermind. The canvas itself is in control. It's a malevolent object with its own will. It decides who gets trapped, who gets tempted, and who's next. It's the ultimate authority.
And in the story's final chilling moments, we come right back to where we started. Professor Lee, the one person who finally understands the rules, is in her room, and then she hears it. That same impossible sound, the gentle, rhythmic sound of a paintbrush.
The curse has followed her. It has moved on from the detective to the expert. The final whisper isn't an offer or a bargain. It's just a simple, terrifying statement of fact. The cycle is starting over, and this time it's starting with her.
And that's where the story leaves us, with that chilling question hanging in the air. If the canvas decides, and it can latch on to anyone who knows its secret, it really makes you wonder. After Professor Lowe, whose turn is it next?